Prime Minister of Trinidad attack, defending our people. And other Prime Ministers from other countries that defend for them people. But bro God not defend Jamaicans. I want to go on.
Don't cut ties with Cuba because a certain set of persons I try to bad way up until we say what we can do. And you have to remember say when sickness take on them, a Cuba send them people them to come heal with.
I just get to understand say the American government is threatening to sanction countries who use Cuban doctors and nurses. And I was very shocked to learn that Jamaica used Cuban doctors and nurses.
Jamaica's medical cooperation program with Cuba has been in place since 1976 and has operated under a memorandum of understanding upheld by successive administrations. More than 400 Cuban nurses and doctors are working on the island.
The problem in Cuba basically is that despite being a communist regime and Marxism not working, is that they've decided and they thought what they would do is that they would create this holding company. It's called GUYANA. It is a company that they own by the Cuban military, and that holding company owns everything that makes money in Cuba. If it makes money in Cuba, they own it, and it generates revenue for them. The Miami Herald just did an expose on GUYANA. And while you have electrical blackouts and you have all these other problems economically in Cuba, GUYANA is sitting on billions of dollars that they've generated for their permanency. In 2017, the Trump administration sanctioned GUYANA.
Welcome to this channel, guys. If it is your first time, kindly subscribe, like this video, and share it out. Jamaica is among some of the Caribbean nations that are being likely to be faced with sanctions if they don't heed to some of the what the United States of America is saying. Recently, concerning the Cuban doctors, the United States is saying that if some of the countries don't do away with the Cuban doctors or the Cuban medical practitioners, their services, they are likely to face travel bans, and that is the officials and their family members. They are not likely to be given visas to travel to the United States. Some of the Caribbean leaders, one of them being Mia Montley, the Prime Minister of Barbados, have come out and expressed their opinions. They are saying that they are standing with Cuba.
Caribbean prime ministers have been vocal about their position on the alleged exploitation of Cuban medical missions. This was President of the St. Vincent and the Grenadines, Ralph Gonsalves, at a meeting in Portland recently.
Does anybody expect that I to go because I want to keep a visa, that I would let 60 persons from the poor and working people to die? It will never happen.
In his 4-hour-long speech on Thursday, Prime Minister Andrew Holness did not address the issue, which public commentator Jermaine Barrett believes is critical in this time.
We did not get a strong and a defiant position from the Prime Minister. I think the Prime Minister, of course, is a bit of a strategist, he's a pragmatist, and he's trying to work this thing through to Jamaica's benefit.
The government's position came on Thursday, but not from Prime Minister Holness. Instead, Foreign Affairs Minister Kamina Johnson-Smith.
Our structured process of review and engagement is progressing well, and we remain confident in the integrity of this program. We continue to engage diplomatically, including discussions which I held with the Cuban foreign minister, the current head of the U.S. Embassy, with whom both Minister Tufton and I and our teams met. And of course, as between CARICOM foreign ministers, as you would be aware, we have had discussions. We've exchanged perspectives, and we are seeking to ensure the best understanding and outcomes of this matter. Given that the MOU had expired last year, the government of Jamaica had already begun a review process even before any international concerns were raised. So while we have identified a few areas for alignment with our own overseas labor programs and how they are administered, we are confident that the Cuban program is a legitimate bilateral cooperation program, not an example of trafficking.
Then if the cost of it is the loss of my visa to the US, then so be it.
In a fiery and defiant message to Donald Trump and the US government, Barbados Prime Minister Mia Montley has sent shockwaves across the region.
This matter with the Cubans and the nurses should tell us everything that we need to know. Barbados does not currently have Cuban medical staff or Cuban nurses, but I will be the first to go to the line and to tell you that we could not get through the pandemic without the Cuban nurses and the Cuban doctors. I will also be the first to tell you that we paid them the same thing that we pay Bajans, and that the notion, as was peddled not just by this government in the US, but the previous government, that we were involved in human trafficking by engaging with the Cuban nurses was fully repudiated and rejected by us. Now, I don't believe that we have to shout across the seas, but I am prepared, like others in this region, that if we cannot reach a sensible agreement on this matter, then if the cost of it is the loss of my visa to the US, then so be it. But what matters to us is principles. And I have said over and over that principles only mean something when it is inconvenient to stand by it. Now, we don't have to shout, but we can be resolute. And I therefore look forward to standing with my CARICOM brothers. I wish I could say brothers and sisters, but brothers, to be able to ensure that we explain that what the Cubans have been able to do for us, far from approximating itself to human trafficking, has been to save lives and limbs and sight for many a Caribbean person.
A lot of Jamaicans are also saying the same thing, that they are standing with the Cuban medical practitioners because they have been there when they were needed the most. Recently, or hours to come, the United States Secretary of State Marco Rubio will be making his visit to the Caribbean. And many people are asking, the United States of America cannot just come to your country when they know they are going to lose or not gain from it. So the visit of United Secretary of State Marco Rubio to the Caribbean islands is being expected to at least show the true colors of the Jamaican leaders, one of them in being Andrew Holness, because some of the Jamaican leaders have expressed their opinion, but Andrew Holness has not come out and to the open. Maybe he's doing like that because of diplomacy. So in this video, guys, have compiled several videos about this whole situation, about what they are likely to discuss, and the reaction of Jamaicans. Kindly look at the videos before we come back and share more views about this whole situation.
I just received this text I'm reading. Trump has now extended his bullying to the Caribbean.
What?
Trump told Jamaica, Barbados, Trinidad, Guyana, and other islands that they are no longer allowed to do any business with Cuba, or else USA will revoke all Caribbean US visas for foreign government officials to US. Jamaica therefore cannot host healthcare workers or doctors from Cuba.
What?
Jamaica has always hired Cuban healthcare workers and doctors, and they're some of the best doctors on the island. Cubans even own and operate the nice private hospital in Montego Bay, where a lot of tourists go, far superior to the free public hospitals. Anyhow, the Caribbean is in a scurry to decide what to do, because the revoking of the visas by US not only affects the Caribbean government officials, but their family members also. Jamaica and the rest of the Caribbean looks like it's buckling under this threat, because most of the government officials' children are on US visas in schools in US. The whole Caribbean region has now to go along with the new demands from Trump: cut all Cuban doctors, healthcare workers, and hire doctors from India, Philippines, or Africa instead. That's over 22,000 medical professionals losing their jobs in the Caribbean and heading back to Cuba. The Cuban hospital will cease to exist in Jamaica. End of documentary.
I mean, I feel like we've gone back to like 1925 or something.
Yes, I've always known of Cuban doctors all my life. They're very good doctors. Oh my goodness.
Okay, so this is my mom, by the way. You said that you've only ever known Cuban doctors in Jamaica?
Yes, all my life.
So when you hear this, what exactly does it mean to you? That's what visions come to your mind of what's going to happen now to Jamaica and the Caribbean?
Access to healthcare is going to be less, which is not good for the island. They need more, not less.
They already are in need of more right now.
Yes.
Before this has happened, and now they're going to have less, which means more
sickness,
destitution, devastation, sickness,
dying.
disease. Yes, people dying. Yeah.
From medical conditions that could be treated. This is sad for the island.
Why do you think he's doing this?
Control.
Like what does it benefit? How does this benefit the United States by doing that to the islands?
It's all about control. I don't see any benefit to the United States.
So do you feel like it's just to say, I can do it, so I'm going to do it?
Oh, yeah. It's a shame because it's going to affect American tourists as well. So that's going to limit the amount of tourism to the islands, which is going to affect the economy.
Every day is something new. Every day is a new thing that we have to be like, oh, what awful thing has happened today?
It's never anything positive.
And it's never anything positive.
But this was the same as the first 4 years of Trump being in charge. He used to have highlighted days and numbered them according to what disaster he anticipated. This is nothing new.
I just get to understand that the American government is threatening to sanction countries who use Cuban doctors and nurses. And I was very shocked to learn that Jamaica used Cuban doctors and nurses. For real. I mean, sorry, I am very shocked. I mean, over 400 Cuban doctors and nurses, biomedical engineers and technicians from Cuba in Jamaica. I am very shocked because I did not know that the Jamaica Labour Party deal with Cubans, much less Cuba. I did not know. Forgive me, Jamaica, I just did not know. Like I said, I did not know that the Jamaica Labour Party deal with Cuba. See me? Because about 50 years ago, Jamaica was sanctioned for the same. See? 50 years ago, Michael Manley was the Prime Minister of Jamaica, and he was friends with Cuba. Fidel Castro. See? Cuba built schools in Jamaica. See me? Let me see. I can name two of the school them. G.C. Foster and Jose Marti. See? Cubans built that. See? Michael Manley was also using Cuban doctors and nurses. See? The opposition leader at the time, Edward Siaga, was always saying Michael Manley wants to turn Jamaica into a communist country because he's friends with Cuba. You see me I say? No, America did not like that too. America did not like to see Michael Manley being friends with Cuba. You see? Now Michael Manley, on hearing that America was upset at him being friends with Cuba, said these words: I will not allow America to dictate to me about which friends I should keep. And as long as this party is in power and I am the leader, we will tread this earth on our feet and not on our knees. Meaning, we're not about to no guy. Bro God, said that if you're bad. Said that if you're bad. Saying anyway, Michael Manley paid a heavy price after that. For real. The Secret Service were sent to Jamaica on a wide scale to every parish in Jamaica to create what? Havoc. You see me? There were riots in the street. People got hungry because what? Food was locked off from Jamaica. So when we heard Papa Eddie say he was going to lock down Jamaica tighter than a sardine tin that not even breeze can pass through, you know say he was working with America. You see me I say? For real. There were even a few attempts on Manley's life. Yeah. So with me knowing the history, and I was there, you see why I am surprised. Seeing? But now things have come full circle again. You see me I say? And me notice that bro God quiet the Prime Minister of Trinidad attack defending our people. And other Prime Ministers from other countries that defend for them people. But bro God not defend Jamaicans. I want to go on. Come on, bro God, you have to talk up and defend your people. Be like Michael Manley, youth. How we do? Well, he must PNP, a labor, so you can't be like it. But anyway, defend your people, bro God. See? You're too quiet.
Don't do it. Don't you dare do it, yeah? Don't cut ties with Cuba because a certain set of persons I tell we say, I try to bad way up and tell we say what we can do. And you have to remember say, when sickness take on them, a Cuba send them people them to come heal with. A Cuba I send the doctors and nurses them to every single country in the Caribbean to make sure that we are provided the services that we cannot afford to provide in our own countries. Cuban doctors are top tier, and the best thing about it is they are getting paid. So what kind of trafficking you not talk about? I must say traffic light you must say I refer to, because it couldn't be Cuba was literally this with Jamaica from day one. You not gonna say you not cut ties because certain set of persons don't even provide that medical care that we need in the Caribbean, like how Cuba just go out of them way. Cuba not even wink. Them not even wink them eye.
This message is for the Caribbean and my fellow Jamaicans. And I hope you use on a voice to convince on a leader to do something for you and not for Donald Trump. Donald Trump I try to stop the nurse and doctors from Cuba. Donald Trump want the nurse and the doctor them we in our country I help sick people and people who need surgery if go back home. Donald Trump want to stop work with them. Donald Trump want cripple the local system they want to have. Jamaican Medicare system don't have enough schools to teach so many nurses and doctors to help so many people who are in need. So that's a critical blow. Jamaicans need the doctors and the nurses where Cubans have been providing for years. People in America, them have enough doctor, them alright. I just the Medicare system, insurance, it's a scam. Beside all of that, them have people who can go school and turn doctor and nurse and everything. Jamaica don't have that. We have a doctor sometimes you have to wait too long. And Cuba already have help. So one can imagine if one don't have that help there. You know what I mean? People who know what go on have to start talking about what go on. A whole heap of country help Jamaica, yeah? And rely upon them support. But this right also, this a madness. This a madness. Because Cuban support in the medical field is big. American support, yes. We have them car, we have them food, we have them guns. You know what I mean? And I think most of them support is guns. We don't need that. You know what I mean? the Prime Minister, you have a choice to make, dog. You know what I mean? Choose your people. Let go some visa, you know what I mean? They want to stop the officials them from coming. Them not to come fine. You know what I mean? The Caribbean together is strong. All enough for those just pull together, come together. You know what I mean? And form a system where on rely upon one another. If I saw them want to do it. United we. So I tell you, but even though if I say, all me I say is that everybody will know what going on. When I just pressure on the Prime Minister the right way. Because sometimes if you don't stand up for something, you know, you fall for everything. Understand? America is a bully. America is a bully. And somebody and sometimes people have to just say, no. Go on with your embassy. Go on with your food. Go on with your clothes. Go on with your this. Go on with your that. I don't know work amongst the CARICOM, you know what I mean? Islands them and figure it out. Yeah, it might hurt for a while, but guess what? Them claim them do they hurt for a while for the good for the long run. Only can do it too. But at the benefit of the people them. Only need the doctors them, only need the nurse them at Jamaica. We don't have to come and find. Straight.
Well, I see what going on, you know, in the Caribbean. See? With Trump as a boy, right now, if the Caribbean leaders them want to keep them visa, them say, don't work with the Cuban doctor them, send them out of them country. See? What may I say? Over the years, more than 40 a year, Cuba under sanction. See? From America. From the Cuban Revolution war. Way back now Fidel Castro time. Them sanction Cuba. Cuba can't do no trade, no business most I world. See? And the people in Cuba are the most resilient people, me know. Them people that go through the struggles, educate the whole of them, whole of the population. Everybody in Cuba educated. I don't think they have a literacy rate past 1%. Everybody illiterate and a professional. They have the best doctor. Years upon years, Cuban doctor help the Caribbean. Not only in Jamaica, but most of Caribbean and Africa. See? When it comes to Jamaica, the cataract them in a Jamaican elderly people. Terrible. A Cuban doctor come scrape the people them eye. All my father get benefit from it. Them scrape them eye. Because the cataract dangerous of Jamaica. See? So how now if we turn our back to a local visa for the Cuban people? All of the Caribbean, I see me and Motley now. Motley there Barbados say she joined the front of the line. If we give up them visa and we stand up for Cuban brothers and sisters. And we want our Prime Minister and our bro God. See? If we stand up for the Cuban people them too, you know. Don't make them frighten you about, don't make Donald Trump frighten you about visa. See? What may I tell you say? All the Caribbean leaders, may I invite you now to come to Canada. Canada nice and beautiful, clean, we are peaceful people, loving people. See? We don't have a big rat over here run up and down, like over Uncle Sam. See? Our country clean and nice, so you can come and visit Canada anytime, any day, any night. See? You can't go to Europe. You can't go all over. You don't have to go over Uncle Sam. So don't make that scare now and say, boy, you pick them a visa and way. You don't have to dwell upon that, brother. You look out for your Cuban neighbor. Because we can swim from Jamaica to Cuba, just 90 miles. See? And I use Cuba and I stand up for it. So you don't make no frighten me. Mr. Prime Minister of Jamaica, I want you to come out and talk. Because we don't hear you say nothing tough yet, you know. I want you to come out and talk for the people. Make Uncle Sam know say, if they want to take the visa, make them take it. You know response about that. What your response is the Jamaican people get help from the Cuban because them help the whole of the Caribbean and Africa, brother. See? And then people, if you look for the car over Cuba, them, a pay all car over there and all kind of thing. Or the man them pressure the people and people them make use of what them have. For decades upon decades still now. And in a modern time now when people be free up, they don't still want pressure people them, brother. Do you know, we stand up and fight that one here. More the Prime Minister stand up and fight that one here, you know. See? If you want Jamaican people to love you more, stand up for the Cuban people them, brother. You hear that? That's how we have it said today. But why catch favorite food? I'm out.
Thank you guys for staying tuned up to this point. March 2025 marks a significant moment in Jamaica's diplomatic history as the United States of America Secretary of State, that is Marco Rubio, will be on a 2-day visit to this little but unique island. They say Jamaica is small, but they talawa. The United States Secretary of State cannot just come to Jamaica if it was not of importance. Yes, Marco Rubio will be also visiting Guyana, and you know Guyana is one of the countries that is becoming rich day to day because of the recently discovered oil. But what are the United States going to benefit from Jamaica? This is what some of the people are asking. This visit is aimed to reinforce the long-standing relationship between Jamaica and the United States, focusing on mutual interests and addressing some of the emerging challenges. Marco Rubio's arrival is likely to be met with warm hospitality that will set the tone for discussions covering a broad spectrum of topics, right from economic collaboration to the regional security, covering even Haiti security status. Illegal immigration is one of the issues that is likely to be dealt with. You know, Donald Trump, when he took power, he talked of mass deportation, which is evident it is currently taking place. The TPS of some countries like Venezuela, the temporary protection status of some countries have already been removed. And you know, there are a lot of complexities surrounding migration patterns, and there are needs for solutions that respect human rights while at the same time addressing concerns of border security. One of the other issues that is also likely to be discussed is the combating of transnational organized crime. The Caribbean region, while a hub of tourism and culture, has faced a number of challenges with drug trafficking and other illicit activities. Yeah, there are some videos out there where you will find that there are guys who are in the United States, Jamaicans, and they are engaging in some of these illicit activities. Some of the gangs, you'll find that they go to the United States illegally, and then at the same time fund or engage in some of these illegal activities. I'm not saying all of them, but just a small portion of the rotten potatoes. So Secretary Rubio and Jamaican officials are likely to explore the strategies to enhance intelligence sharing, strengthening of law enforcement capabilities, and ensure the safety of both citizens and visitors in Jamaica. Another focal point is likely to be the economic partnership between Jamaica and the United States of America. Both nations will explore avenues to bolster trade, ways to invest in sustainable development, and creation of opportunities that may benefit both economies. But questions linger. Wherever US goes, they have to win. They don't have to lose. So in this case, I don't know. And being a superpower, they're coming in with their policies, and what will Jamaica offer in exchange? The emphasis is likely to be on building resilient infrastructure, promoting green technologies, and ensuring that economic growth translates to improved livelihoods for all. The US is actually, irrespective of being a superpower, they're being threatened by forces like Russia and China. You know, with the formation of BRICS, the countries like Russia, India, China coming together with recently South Africa have joined them. They want to avoid the CARICOM, or rather the Caribbean leaders, from getting into that kind of association, because they might lose they might lose economically, so to say.
Why Trump is targeting Cuba and CARICOM. The real reason behind this U.S. crackdown isn't about protecting Cuban doctors. It's about U.S. influence in the Caribbean. It's about controlling Jamaica's foreign policy. And it's about stopping Cuba from gaining power in the region.
So one of the things that is very controversial, and it has been brought to the forefront, it is the issue of Cuban medical doctors. This is the issue that is very contentious because for decades, Cuban doctors have been a very important part of Jamaican's healthcare. They have provided services in underserved areas and contributed public health initiatives in not only in Jamaica but in so many regions. I remember during the Corona period, some of the Cuban doctors came over to our country to volunteer and help during that period of where it was so bad. Even the doctors themselves some of them were losing their lives because of the Corona. The partnerships or the healthcare partnerships that have been in Jamaica between the Jamaican government and Cuba has been there for very long. It can be dated back to the year 1976. Over all these years, Jamaicans have benefited from the expertise of the Cuban medical professionals who have been instrumental in delivering essential health services across Jamaica. Recently, the United States government, led by Secretary Rubio, MARCO RUBIO, expanded visa restrictions. These visa restrictions have been targeting officials from countries involved in Cuba's overseas medical programs. The US is describing these programs as forced labor. They are alleging that they enrich the Cuban regime while depriving citizens of the citizens of Cuba of their domestic healthcare. But is it really so? Because wherever the Cuban doctors have been there, they are being paid well. And what the United States is saying is that it's like the Cuban government has something like a monopoly where instead of the doctors benefiting, the government is benefiting more. And at the same time, the citizens of Cuba are being deprived of the healthcare. But as you have seen from the videos, most of the Jamaicans are really standing with Cuba. They say that Cubans have really helped them in so many ways, and they can't do that. They can't just do away with them. One of the leaders, as you have seen in the video, the Prime Minister of Barbados, she's saying that she's willing to lose her visa to the US because of taking the medical or rather taking the doctors from Cuba, even though it is said that Barbados doesn't have, I'm not quite sure, but it doesn't have Cuban doctors. On the other hand, Jamaica has more than 400 Cuban doctors as we speak, and they have been in existence with for years with under an MOU. A number of Caribbean leaders have, as I have said, have shared their views about the Cuban medical practitioners, and one of the leaders is the Prime Minister Gonsalves of St. Vincent and Grenadines. He was recently in Jamaica and during the PNP campaign, and he said that these medical missions are a lifeline for many of its citizens, and labeling them as trafficking is not only inaccurate, but also deeply offensive to those who have benefited from these services of the Cuban doctors. Without the Cuban doctors, ladies and gentlemen, many Jamaicans wouldn't have access to essential medical care. The Cuban doctors have been in Jamaica when Jamaicans needed them the most. During the Corona period, they were there. During different other scenarios, they were there. Currently, as I speak, or as we speak, Jamaica has more than 400 medical practitioners working under the bilateral program, which is under an a memorandum of understanding, and it's not anywhere near forced labor. For many Jamaicans, the Cuban medical missions represent hope and accessibility. From eye surgeries that restore sight to general healthcare services, these missions have left a big mark on the Jamaican health landscape. This is evident from some of the videos, some of the Jamaicans reacting. One of the ladies, you can she has talked about the eye surgeries that the Cuban doctors partook in, and they have also said that Cuba is one of the countries with the best medical practitioners or doctors, pharmacists, etc. And my prayer is that the United States Secretary of State, that is Marco Rubio, will engage in a candid discussion with Jamaican leaders about these concerns. I know the US has expressed its stance on most of these issues, but the Jamaican officials need to stand firm in defending the integrity and necessity of the Cuban medical missions, not only in Jamaica, but all over the Caribbean. I hope the visit will underscore the importance of dialogue, mutual respect, and the continuous effort to navigate complex international issues while prioritizing the well-being of the citizens. Jamaican journey with Caribbean neighbors and international partners is one of resilience, cooperation, and unwavering dedication to the health and prosperity of its people. So this has been the video for today. You can leave your comments down about this whole situation. What do you think? This has been the video for today. If you have not subscribed to this channel, please do me the favor of subscribing to this channel, liking this video, share it out, and leave your comment below this video. Also, remember to press the bell notification icon so that in case I get to post, you'll be notified. Until next time, God bless.